Traditional markets are seeing new highs. Bitcoin is clawing its way back into finding a support area. Finally, after the big dump off and sideways price action, it's been very boring in the market for quite some time, but now there's a little bit of energy and excitement going on. But there's something coming that no one is expecting. So let's look at that today. Welcome back to the Revan Trading Channel. Hope you all are staying safe out there as always. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, would love to have you. Just hit that subscribe button or smash the like button if you are. Just show some support would be super helpful. All right, jumping into the daily time frame. This is an indicator here, the RBO, that we've not looked at for quite some time, and we're of course looking at the Revan ribbons here. Currently, just to update on my trade, I went short back in this area. I had some limit orders all the way from, I think my lowest order was around 74.5K, all the way up into 75.5K area. That's kind of, this is the area back here, right here, where I was shorting. Now, I posted on Sunday, April 19th, that I was closing a majority of my position, and I did get out with a nice little bit of profit right there. I think I was shorting about 5x, and I think I got about a 2, so it was actually about 3% profit because I was in 15% profit, what I posted on the Discord there. However, we did see a nice bounce off of this area, and I am still short just 20% of my trade, so I'm in the red a bit on this 20%, but I'm majorly in the green from that one trade. And I don't expect things to majorly go one way or the other from here, so I'm holding this to get out at closer to break even. But if it does move to the upside and give a strong closer above this dotted resistance, I will exit as well at the 20% of my trade position will be in the red, of course. But we are not seeing any major closures above this. So volatility, price is wicking up above that band right there, the dotted band here, but no closures above it show me that the bulls are gaining some wins in price action, but however, as far as actually finding breaking some major areas to move to the upside, we have not seen that yet. And so I'm continue to be, I shouldn't say bearish, but I'm not full on bullish right now. I'm still, putting in a few short trades, and again, I will be happy to start switching on my bias if we see a move above this dotted resistance band. All right, looking at long-term price action, the reason I have this chart open and the RBO open is because we're seeing a move into the area, an area that we've not seen for quite a long time on the RBO indicator. We did see, I made a video back in February of this year talking about how we had bottomed out. Likely, again, according to this indicator, we saw a test into the negative 80 region on this oscillator, and the last time that we saw that during the same kind of the market price action was we saw it on actually an upward move back here in 21 before the final top, and really more importantly, we saw that move happen in January of 2022. We saw a test into that area before we saw a price move to the upside, and then finally the last dump off. Now, history does not often exactly repeat itself, but it does rhyme. And so the interesting thing is we are getting into this area about negative 40 to negative 20. So there's about a 20 point range right here. We are currently getting back into that range right now. So we're seeing, a move we saw in April of this year. We saw a break above that, and that's really where some, the last push has come from. But this is why I bring this indicator up. This was back in the same kind of period regime. This area was where we saw our last major dump off. Now, it did spend a good bit of time in this region, so full disclosure, it was about 50 bars, so almost 2 months in this price range right there. But we did see that the top, when we tested the top side of this red box, was really the last top before the major dump off. Okay, so this was a pretty major move here. Really, when all was said and done, about 67% drop off came from that last top here. So this is why I'm getting a little bit bearish right now. And maybe it's not the time directly to get bearish, but once we see the top of this tested, I will get much more bearish for the last washout. Now, again, doesn't mean that we're going to see major new lows from the lows, but if we do see, say price gets up to about 85K area and we see a, 50 to 60% move to the downside, that's freaking insane. That's about into the 40K area. Now, I don't necessarily expect it to be as severe because as Bitcoin matures, the price moves to the upside and downside are dampened. So, who knows where price will be. Long term, I expect 55K to be a great value area. But I do expect price, at least, and I've been saying this for a while, to get around 50K to 60K area. I do expect it actually to break that 60K area. So I'm waiting to buy. And I do think that people will start to get majorly bullish. Currently, right now, people are still, pretty bearish. But I think it's funny how people flip around and start being really bullish right before we see major dump off. And I'm not seeing that currently. So I don't expect the top to be right here. So I'm waiting for Bitcoin to get, before I majorly put in some shorts, I'm waiting for Bitcoin to get in this price range on the RBO indicator. And that does mean that we might see some upward price action. So on the 5-day time frame, let me move to that over here. The reason I also am expecting a bit more upside is because our 5-day did close above the mid band, which does put in, means it should put in some nice price action to the upside. And currently the resistance 1 band is at about 86.7K. So again, kind of a little bit more confluence. And we do have momentum to the upside on the 5-day. So I do expect it to continue to play out, some moves to the upside here, move into that range, and then finally dump off at some point in the near future. The other things that we can look at is the 4-hour time frame here. I actually adjusted my ribbons indicator just a slight bit. I changed the resistance multiplier here, support and resistance 3 multiplier. So it's setting them at both at 2.5. This gives us a little bit better area of taking profit if we're looking at a 4-hour time frame and want to take profit off of moves to the upside. So currently we did see our high here off of that resistance 2 dotted band. Back in, let's see, just a couple days ago on the 22nd. Was that, it's 2 days ago. And since then, we have finally seen a cool off and are about to get our first closure in a little while below the midline on a 4-hour time frame. So this is, again, why I'm holding on to my short, because I do expect price to get at least down to 76K. Probably, honestly, I think this weekend might even go a bit lower than that. So, that's kind of what I'm expecting on the very short-term Bitcoin price action. Other than that, we can let's look at a daily 12-hour. Nothing too interesting on a 12-hour time frame except for we're seeing momentum cross to the downside. And again, we have not seen a closure above this dotted resistance band. So I do expect to see, again, this midline tested. So we're seeing a lot of confluence here at the 76.5K area. And if it closes below that, then I expect it down all the way to 73K or so. But I want to look at a daily time frame. And I actually want to look at our expected projection here is we're slowly seeing, obviously the bands move to the upside, but the curvature is to the downside. So if you're looking at options trading, this is kind of the range I'm looking at options-wise to be going on. However, I'm not an options trader by any means. That's a little bit beyond my reach. But I do want to actually look at Tesla on a daily time frame because I think we're getting some interesting price action going on here. Let me pull that up. It might just take a minute to load there. So on a daily time frame, we're seeing finally we saw a move above this midline and a really strong closure above it, and we're seeing support off of this midline band. So I do expect price for Tesla to have bottomed out. This is something I've been looking at for quite a while because I am a holder, and I actually bought a bit more Tesla back here a little ways. Just a little bit. I already hold a good amount from quite a bit lower, but I thought it was a decent value area to add to my position. And we are seeing some support off of this midline band, so I do expect Tesla to start to have found a low for quite a while here on the daily time frame after really not closing above this, especially this dotted. So Tesla trades a little bit different here. As far as price moves goes, it has a good amount of fake outs going on. But this dotted resistance band 0 right here, that's really what I look at a little bit more for my trend swing. And we did see, a close above it and support off of this midline. So again, to me, that just means we're accumulating, I can't say the word, finding support around this area, this greater area in here around 70, I guess call it 382 area. Okay, so I think that's everything I want to look at today. The last thing I will look at here is the strategy on our Bitcoin daily time frame. We just barely missed closing above this dotted resistance here, which would have been a nice place to take. I wish it would have, obviously taken profit right here, but the strategy itself did not meet the criteria to take profit. So this is released for anyone that is a holder of the ribbons, and I will make a video very soon. I've just been so busy on this indicator and how I set it up, but I posted a default setting for how I like to trade it on the daily time frame, and it is out there for anyone to mess with. You can try it on many different time frames in many different ways, but it is definitely more optimized for a daily time frame. So again, video about this coming hopefully soon in the near future. Just been very busy with so many things going on. So all right, I'm gonna leave it off right there for today. Hope you all again stay safe. Let me know what your bias is on crypto. If you think we're going down or up from here, or what your thoughts are. Would love to hear from you in the Discord. Again, link is in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.